How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to go and do this mission on Chinokaments called Plant Restoration. It's pretty similar in a way to the Sawmill Blues one I did the other day, but to be honest, there's quite a lot of missions I've still got locked that say I needed to do Sawmill Blues and Plant Restoration, so yeah, it gives me access to a location, it allows me to be able to build certain things. And yeah, this is the route I'm kind of going to take. You can see it's hard to read now, but I need bricks, concrete blocks, metal beams, metal rolls, and cement. So I'm going to go out the garage, go to there and get metal beams, 2 lots of metal beams, so that's sort of 4 slots taken up. Follow this road along here. I've already got a truck there, but what I would do if I didn't was tow a truck with me and just disconnect it there, because I'm going to need bricks later, but I'm not going to have room on the first run. Yeah, go up to that top corner, get 2 lots of metal beams, so that's 6 lots of cargo, and then drop it off there, which is the plant. And then there's some bricks just there, so that's pretty cool. And then, like I said, I've got a truck there, but if not, I would have just disconnected and left one there ready. Zip and get them bricks, drop them off. And then for the last thing, I need to go to like the bottom corner to get the cement and concrete blocks. Yeah, for this one, I'm going like just as easy as I can mode. I'm sick and tired of all the bugs and glitches I keep getting in this game. I always try to, I don't know, mix it up, have a bit of variety, and use trucks that probably aren't quite as good as the best trucks in the game. It keeps ending up biting me when I do that, so yeah, I've gone for Dolphin and Lo4f. I've even, as I was mentioning, I need 6 cargo slots, but I've gone for the step deck trailer because it's less of a pain in the arse. Although there is a little issue, but it's not strictly speaking just a step deck. Yeah, I've just gone for this setup because, like I said, if I had a sideboard and the ramped flatbed, no doubt the ramped flatbed would try and tip every 2 seconds and all the rest of it. Basically, I've got a crane on the Dolphin as well, which I can fit on if I use a sort of saddle and a semi-trailer instead of the sideboard and the ramped flatbed. I'll just wear a piece of cargo like a hat. It works pretty well, to be honest. I quite like that method. It's, if anything, ironically, like, the cargo I wear as a hat has got the highest success rate of not falling off anything. It's, like, extremely rare. Unless I roll myself, I don't think I've ever lost a piece of cargo off the roof. Especially once you've got it pinned onto the roof with a crane. It just doesn't really go anywhere. And as you can see, yeah, part of the reason I brought the Dolphin, I wanted to just drop the hammer and get on with it, and as I've said before, this has got a very nice pace in high gear. It just sort of, and it's a good enough truck to actually smash through a good majority of the super mud and super snow without too much effort. Obviously, this map's got a bit of the old death snow and death mud scattered around. There's a Lo4f still stuck to the side of that Zix's head. He's doing well. He's hanging on like a goddamn professional. Yeah, so this mission I did the other day, or probably the other week by now, called Spring Cleaning. That unlocks this warehouse, just for those of you that are probably wondering, like, how the hell do I get access to that? Yeah, a contract called Spring Cleaning, get that done. And then there's metal beams here, which they're unlimited as well, which is quite nice. I believe this plant we're unlocking has... You can build metal beams, yeah. You can build metal beams there. I honestly don't really know why you'd want to bother if we've got unlimited metal beams on this side. I admit I was being a little bit cheeky trying to cut the corner there, but I still don't know now what the hell is stopping me being able to go. I'm able to reverse just fine. It was like I just had 0 grip for some reason. I honestly don't really know what was going on there. It didn't even look like I was caught on anything or anything. But yeah, anyway. We're back to it. And the nice thing is, for the most part, I've kind of chose a pretty free-flowing route, and that's one thing I do like and appreciate about Chinokaments. Whoever made this map, like, thank you. I appreciate they have a better idea, I think, of what gamers want than let's just make everything a pain in the arse and like make it all super slow and all the rest of it. It feels like a very nice free-flowing map. There is other shortcuts and different routes you can take that involve like more death mud, death snow, super snow, blah blah blah, cutting across ice, all that sort of stuff. But there is kind of a general road system which does have little patches like this of, again, probably, you know, super mud and stuff, but that's fine. that's the nature of this game, I can live with that. But yeah, there's just quite a nice road network around the map that you can at least blast from one end to the other fairly freely. So now I got past that section. I believe that's I just went past the logging station that I've kind of been nipping to for the last couple of days. I got some bricks from there the other day, probably for that Sawmill Blues contract. I remember I got the logs for that build additional farmhouses thing. But yeah, now we're back onto just basically main road. You might get again the odd little patch like that, but that's what I do like with the Dolphin. It stays in high range very well, he says, as we start to stall out. Well, didn't quite stall out, but dropped it into auto before it did. But again, that's just the nature of like the way the game's coded. Certain sections of like the super mud and that is generally alright. If it's this new kind of death mud, particularly, it just, the game doesn't allow you to drive through it in high range, basically. I apologise, there's a little glitch there, but as you'll see, we get a little bit of trouble going on here. What I should have done now is stuck a winch from the back of the trailer to one of these trees. I didn't think it would be this bad, but especially like when I bumped on that bit again, that skidded me a little bit over to the left. All this rock basically leans a bit, and my trailer starts slipping off. I managed to grab that, but it all fell. The loaf, I saved the footage too quick, but the loaf did land on his wheels. I reloaded it, kept trolling me. In the end, I managed to slip down the back, and my cargo fell off. So, and this is a pain in the arse, that I reload the cargo and it says impossible to pack. Now I'm trying to lift the metal beam, and the crane is too shit to be able to lift it. So again, it's just like, you used to be able to pack the cargo how I just tried, but for some reason they've changed it so it now says impossible, which is a piss take because they've also broke the cranes and winches, and now that bug combined with the fact that they've now made it impossible to pack the cargo when it's like on the front of the step deck, yeah, just makes it all a pain in the arse. That it's just one of those things where I cut obviously the vast majority of that out. I was honestly there for about 20 minutes. Just like, I even in the end disconnected the trailer from me, drove next to it, the crane still couldn't lift the metal beams, I just needed to rotate them 90 degrees. In the end I kind of got mad with it, sort of relatively speaking, and just drove flat out into the beams and hit them, and they span round enough, and then I clicked pack and it worked. But yeah, that's what I just did there in the end. Like, once I got it all packed, I got to the other sort of back from the start again. Did winches to the trees this time, just to make sure the trailer can't slip off to the left. That's the thing with the trailers, they're a little bit... Obviously, even if you've got chain tyres on your truck, you don't get chained on the trailers, for example. And they do have a habit of kind of like just skidding around. They considering they can drag a lot and all the rest of it, as far as like grip-wise, they do skate around quite a lot. I believe, to be honest, Fox's mods, like his trailer mods, they're more weighted, that they behave a little bit more realistically. But anyway, yeah, another free-range trailer I just had sat near that bridge. Somebody said the other day that that bridge I just avoided by going over that rock, that's built or something for them, and they're able to drive over it. I can guarantee you, I can't drive over that bridge. I even tried while it was, like, trolling me earlier, trying to put those metal beams back on. There is still an invisible wall, basically. I, again, went for a Dukes that has a jump across the bridge, and yeah, I just hit an invisible wall, so for me, there's no way around it. But I don't know, maybe that guy might be on, like, PC, maybe it's different on PC or Xbox, I'm really not sure. Or he's just, I don't know, one of the lucky ones he's able to get across it. So there is the truck that I've already got nearby. So all I was saying is now, just imagine I was towing, I don't know, another Dolphin behind me with just a sideboard, doesn't need to have a trailer or anything because there's only 2 lot of bricks I've got to grab. I would now just disconnect that from behind me and just abandon it now behind me. But like I said, as I've already got a truck planted there, I kind of like using the other truck because it's a Zix and a pair of loafs that I was using on a mission a little while ago. I think it was one of the roadblocks I undid, like, yeah, a good couple of weeks ago, I would have thought now. But it's just been sat out, like, it was one of them, really. If I don't need to recover trucks while I'm in the middle of, like, doing all the missions on the maps, then, yeah, I leave them out there. And in this case, that was closer than me, like, it saved me having to tow a Dolphin behind me, because the way the mechanics work in this game, if you're towing a truck behind you, you can't go as fast, it just doesn't let you, so it was nice to be able to drop the hammer a little bit. It was a shame that that little rock section that I slipped off ended up sort of eating up 20 minutes that I was trying to save. So again, the gearboxes as well. Like, that's about the first time I've ever seen the Dolphin start to roll back as it changed gear. That little mud section I went through a minute ago though, I got caught there the other day with a ramped flatbed trailer. This managed to go through, and then now look, it just stopped. I'm in first, I put it into low, it slowly jiggles and starts going. Again, I've never ever seen the Dolphin do that before. Like, I can't work out if well, they definitely broke the gearboxes and everything, but I can't work out if they keep nerfing it again and again. It's like every week you go back to stuff, it feels even more broken, like it won't work as well. Again, like when this game first come out, and we were doing maps like Black River, some of the trucks were like beast mode trucks. Again, the Taiga was an absolute monster. See what I mean there with the gearbox? Like, what are you doing? It just kept completely cutting out. It was, again, if you imagine it like a clutch slipping, where it suddenly just the clutch starts slipping instead of applying power to your prop shaft or whatever. So it's like it was more like that, and then every now and then it just kind of cut back in. This is a little death snow patch here. It's a bit of a tosser, to be honest, because all the rest of it is actually pretty nice, balanced sort of feeling snow, but this one little bit from about here to those concrete blocks, like, even the Zix can barely get through it. And it's not even, it doesn't look like that particularly deep snow. But anyway, that is about the most of the bugs I encountered tonight, so at least it's fairly smooth sailing from here. And there, as you can see, I winched some at the other side, which at least they've left things there you can winch to. It wasn't even worth flooring the throttle, it would just be an extra waste of fuel that you ain't going to gain any time or anything. Like, I could only move as quick as the winch was going to pull me regardless. So yeah, back up to this sort of warehouse in the corner where there's a load of metal beams. Sorry, not metal beams, metal rolls. So it's certain sections like that a lot of trucks probably would have just sort of died in high gear when I went a little bit wide and awkward around that corner, but the Dolphin's pretty good at just dropping the hammer. That was a little glitch there, apologies, but all I did, got here, I loaded one lot of metal rolls onto the back of the trailer and then the other one onto the loading platform, because, yeah, I'm going to have to sort of wear it like a hat instead. And I mean, to be fair, not that I would ever kick my loaf out of his little step deck spot. That's it, that's my loaf spot, but it'd be quite nice if they could give the option of making this like a 6-slot trailer, since there is basically 6 slots with that step. Yeah, there you go, pop it on your head, job's a good one. Kind of like push the crane down into it as well. And yeah, there's just enough grip on the roof that when you're pushing down with a crane as well, like, it isn't gonna just slide off. Like, if I go flying around a corner, it's not just gonna, you know, like, as if like the cargo on the trailer was unpacked, that would go skidding off. But on the roof, it's pinned pretty well. And again, particularly on Chinook-a-ments with all these roads, like, Dolphin is a good candidate for kind of flying around this map, because you can definitely get your foot down. And again, it's that age-old argument, like with fuel, that the Dolphin hasn't got loads of fuel, but the fact that it can travel pretty damn quick across a lot of stuff, it does make good use of it. It's funny, with all these concrete blocks, I mean, look at the state of that. It's like, Jesus Christ, if you're going to lay concrete blocks instead of a road, at least make a bloody effort. Laid it like some kind of crazy paving on LSD. But it's funny how I just purposely drove flat out over all those concrete blocks, and the Dolphin is quite notorious in a way for taking damage from stuff like those concrete blocks, and it didn't take any, which kind of shows you that it makes me wonder, like, all the other maps where we take ridiculous amounts of damage off concrete blocks even when you touch them at 1 mile an hour. Is that a kind of side effect of it, or have they purposely done that? Because those concrete blocks are some of the most terribly laid concrete blocks I've ever seen, and yet I hit them flat out and didn't take a single bit of damage. So they obviously can make them not give you damage. I really don't like this bridge. Thankfully we get over it hassle-free. You can see the trailer thinking about it, but we're all good. But yeah, I don't trust that bridge at all. At least on some of the wonky bridges, I think on Erskine River, they've got like a little railing at the side, so even when you do kind of slip off to the left or the right, you kind of rub against the railing on that bridge. Well, yeah, there was a mission the other day. I think it was that roadblock mission, actually. I kind of, my trailer flew off. But again, because I had, I believe, a step deck again, it didn't flip all the cargo. Oh no, I believe it was Bruce I had, actually. But either way, because it was a semi-trailer, and it's like the way it's attached to the saddle, it didn't just go flying over to the side like the ramped flatbed undoubtedly would. So I believe that little bit we just passed through about 10 seconds ago was the roadblock I cleared, like, again, the other week by now, but definitely worth doing on this map because it sort of opens. To be fair, there is a way around that's fairly simple. I'd argue it'd take a bit longer and use a bit more fuel, so it's still worth getting that landslide cleared, but yeah, there is options if you don't. There's Bruce. I believe he's got no fuel. When I was doing that build additional farmhouses, I ran out of fuel in the Paystar, that 10-wheeled thing, so yeah, I brought Bruce up to there, refilled the Paystar, carried on about my business. So I probably will recover those at some point, because I believe the Lo4f his roof rack looked empty there as well. Time to freshen him up. Yeah, going down here is death snow. To be honest, I was kind of happy that I was just able to move through it. Because near enough every truck except the Zix, really. Well, maybe like the Antarctic might be able to get through a bit of death snow, but yeah, normally they just get stuck completely, so at least I'm moving. But as you can see here, like, the only punishment it's doing to me really is I'm nailing a lot of fuel, considering I'm not, you know, gaining a lot of distance. That's all this section does, really. That was another little glitch there, even the computer. It's like, sod this. We've seen enough of that. Thankfully, it's yeah, not a massive patch. So again, that's what I mean, like, whoever's designed this map, they kind of did everything in moderation and kept enough variety going that even if you hit a little section you don't like, you ain't going to be there that long. It's not, you know, just completely the whole thing. A bit like Imandra, again, I like the map Imandra, it looked cool and all the rest of it, but it was too much of just the same thing over and over. There was no variety really to be had on Imandra. Then yeah, this is this giant plant place. And then obviously, yeah, now for the last bit of the cargo, I've just got to... Which again, because the crane can't even reach the trailer, this is genuinely comes in handy. I get it a bit wrong here. What I should have done is just dropped it off the back of the Lo4f and let it roll off backwards now, but yeah, I can't get the cargo far enough onto the trailer anymore because it'll say impossible to pack. So having the Lo4f on that step deck that I can kind of, like, as you just seen, lever the cargo around the back of the Lo4f to get it to land on the bit of the trailer where it'll let me pack it is actually pretty bloody handy. See, again, that's another reason to get yourself a Lo4f. Anyway, that one's done. Just gonna quickly top me Dolphin up. I'm gonna go on and get those bricks that are pretty close to this place anyway, to be fair. But you see, well, I just made it by the skin of my teeth as far as getting all that cargo done. But these bricks I'm about to go get now, there's no way in hell I would have got them if I didn't have the loaf with me, because, yeah, that little bit of extra fuel will get that done. I'm just going to cut ahead like 10 seconds here. It was like a 5-point turn getting around that. It was a nice reverse, up until the last 10%, and then it went horrifically wrong. Yeah, these bricks are only just up here, which is pretty nice. Again, you see, whoever designed this map, so you weren't just like, let's just troll them in every way we possibly can. They actually did some nice things. I was like, my patience levels had already been eroded a little bit on this mission by now, just because of that section where I couldn't repack the metal beams. Hence why I'm being a little bit just kind of like, yep, slap it in reverse, drop the hammer, and we're off. Ain't got time for no like realistic reversing like you would, yeah, in real life. Obviously in real life, paid by the hour. Fucking hell, I'll take 4 hours to do a reverse if I'm paid by the hour. I'll get out the cabin, draw a picture of my surroundings and all sorts just to be safe. So, that's one part. That's a pretty good chunk of the mission done. That's, yeah, metal beams, metal rolls, and half the bricks. So this is the journey I'm going to do. It's not too far to go, really. And as I said, if you don't have a truck sat here, I would have disconnected one just about 30 foot behind me. But this is already set up and good to go. Even got the double loafs. Can't go wrong with double loafs. Sadly, the ramped flatbed. Well, I've got the sideboard. In theory, I could cut the trailer loose. I'd have to move a loaf, though, and that's just not happening. The loaf is more important than these bricks. Until those bricks learn how to refuel me, repair me, carry spare tyres, and flip every truck in the game, in a good way, though, not a bad way, then, yeah. Loaf's got priority. Priority seating. There's a lot of little glitches tonight. Thankfully, nothing too crazy. Only like little sort of 1-second glitches, if that, but it's definitely hammered me with quite a few of them. And at least for this section with the Zix, I mean, you can tell though, it's definitely not as quick as the Dolphin. Obviously, downhill with the wind behind you, that kind of helps. I'm convinced as well, I'm sure, yeah, probably now. I was in auto then, I'm convinced they have nerfed this Zix. It really doesn't feel like it had the guts that it had. I didn't get it on day 1, but I don't know, day 2 or 3, when I got it anyway. It felt great for about 24 to 48 hours, and then yeah, I kept saying to myself, like, if they nerf this, or am I just, I don't know, you know, took a bad route, all the rest of it, maybe it's extra trollish terrain, but I don't know. I've kind of gone back over a few bits I went over in the first day or two, and I'm pretty convinced it just hasn't got the oomph that it used to have. I mean, it's still good enough, like, it's still going to haul stuff and everything, but it doesn't feel as fluent at maintaining its speed and all the rest of it. It's a little bit sort of, yeah, awkward now, or more awkward than it was. But it is still quite nice that it does fit a pair of loafs. Well, obviously anything would in the sideboard, but the loaf on the roof rack fits pretty well. That's what she said. And yeah, it's pretty good at not tipping as well. So I'm just coming up to these crossroads now. If I went right at these crossroads, that'll be the sawmill. You can just see the corner of the buildings. Yeah, there's the second or third watchtower I did, just kind of in the top left. If I go left now, it'd be to the main road that I just kind of drove down in the Dolphin a minute ago. Oh yeah, I was looking there. See how slow it's making me go there? I wouldn't even say there was an inch of snow there. And again, this thing, like, I'm pretty sure was more of a powerhouse. Thankfully though, not too far to go. The warehouse is coming up on the left pretty soon. Like I said, I'd like to get on with building this rocket, but there isn't really that many missions. I think some of the missions that are called, like, is it Alpha, Beta and Gamma or something, they're all locked at the minute, but that's where it was saying, like, complete sawmill blues and plant restoration. Hence why I'm doing these now. And then the last thing I need to do, really, as far as preparation, I could do with getting... I counted them earlier. I believe it's 6 metal beams and 10 wooden planks I need to take to Northern Aegis installation, and then I can go around and fix all the landslides and bridges and all the rest of it. And then, yeah, I've heard bad things about trying to get that 8-slot trailer out of there. I was going to try and make a new entrance to the plant, but again, it's, oh my god, what a bunch of tossers. They never leave. Like, can I not just smash my way through? I'd like to decide if this yard needs another entrance. Put some immovable dead tractor in the way. I tried. I should have known better by now, but I have no regrets. It's always a good day when you can kill a tree on your way as well. I was like, oh no, tree stump. It caught me a tad there. Oh, it obviously took a little bit of engine damage, which is a bit odd. Thankfully though, it didn't actually, like, hook on the axles. Done. Look like I just took some more engine damage there, I don't know why. So that's all the bricks and everything, so now all I need is the cement, I believe, and concrete blocks. I was originally going to basically run another Dolphin and Lo4f and the step deck from the garage and wind down that way and go down this road, but in the end I thought, sod it, I've already got like a Dolphin and Lo4f set up. I'm already got like a main road route. Because I just got that Zix and the double Lo4fs there, I was able to transfer fuel across, refill my Dolphin completely, and refill the roof rack on the Lo4f. And the Lo4f had like full fuel anyway. So yeah, I'm basically all stocked up and ready to go, and I just kind of figured this makes a bit more sense while I'm already out and I've got all the supplies. Again, the goddamn professionals made it happen. So that's where I just got the bricks from, like, with this thing a few minutes ago. But again, I couldn't have done it on this run because I need the I already still need to go and get 6 lots of cargo now. That's a bridge that you have to build. Definitely worth building because again, it connects like the 2 sides of the islands to like these main little road networks. And this will just kind of show you an example of, again, why I like the Dolphin. You can just kind of drop the hammer, put your foot down. And, I mean, when I set off from that yard, I believe I had 194 litres, because I'd just, like, turned the vehicle around and all the rest of it. Yeah. And you kind of see that we're covering some pretty good distance. I'm now already going past that massive plant on the left, and there's, like, a repair station in the little yard on my left now. Again, apologies, a little glitch there. But I think by the time I'm down here, I'm only on like 170 litres or something. So I've only used like 24 litres, which is about 1/8 of a fuel tank. And I've probably got like halfway across the map. And like I said, with it, just the way it works, like with the tyre size on this and everything, when I'm flying along in high gear, it's a nice pace, but it's just not fast enough to where the game mechanics go all weird and make you start skidding around everywhere. I just let the engine off at the minute, may as well save a little bit of fuel rolling down there. Nice little trailer drift around there, but again, Don't know if a trailer would really drift like that in real life, like at that low speed. See, this section, I drove through that, like, imagine I go straight now. That's basically death mud. I just decided now, I'll try and skirt around to the left. And yeah, a hell of a lot better. I had to winch through there the other day, like, the Dolphin got completely stuck. Got a bit keen. Tried to slap it in high a bit early. God loves a trier. And again, sections like this is where it now, relatively speaking, is eating quite a lot of fuel for the distance you're covering. But after that, I can kind of stick it back into high. Again, apologies, only like probably a second glitch again, but it seems to have bit me quite a lot. I can assure you, I am not off to recreate the footage. Stevie Wonder, his tyre was missing. Oh, God damn. Bad enough that he has no eyesight. Trying to take his tyres too. So even this snowy section though, I'd be willing to bet a fair amount of trucks that wouldn't let you tick along in high gear now. So again, this to me is enjoyable. This is SnowRunner, not SnowCrawler. That's how it should be. Or again, at least in enough sections, or at least give me the choice. Like I could have picked 2 or 3 different ways to this place. This I would argue is the most efficient and quickest. But if I was in that mood and feeling adventurous and all the rest of it, I could have gone one of the different ways, following like the ice banks on the river and all sorts. And if I wasn't being trolled so much by bugs recently, you know, I every now and then do like to kind of mix it up a bit, but yeah, at the minute I think it's just safer for me to try and do everything as easy as possible. And then once you factor in all the bugs I get hit with, it kind of balances out. Yeah, I mean, again though, you look at the fuel, I used way less than half a tank, and I've near enough gone diagonally across the entire map. So that's what I mean, like, you get a lot of mileage for your fuel. Another free range trailer though, from just, I believe, when I was exploring. So yeah, managed to top myself up. Get all them, 4 lots of cement I believe it was, 1 lot of concrete blocks on the trailer, and then gonna stick this on my head, wear it like a hat. And again, you can see the little snorkel on my roof. I think once you drop this down, I believe that's got some kind of like hitbox that stabs up into the cargo and kind of helps lock it in place even better. Like, if I didn't even push the crane down into it, it'd stay on reasonably well anyway. I'd certainly 1,000,000% recommend pushing the crane down onto it. Looks good. I actually like I think it's a good look to it. It's funny as well, I've seen a picture, I should put it up on the community posting or whatever for the hell of it. It was a truck, like a little car transporter lorry, and it had 1 truck on the back on like a rollback thing, and then it literally had like a metal frame built over the cab, so it looked like it had a car on its roof, like how I put a loaf on the roof of loads of things. So you see, they've seen the goddamn horse's idea, and it caught on pretty quick. Even in real life, they've realised the potential. They've realised the space that they've had all that time on the roof that they've just been neglecting and wasting. They could have had a goddamn professional. And even though I had that free range trailer back there, I believe I could have made it there and back without needing that. Well, especially, definitely, because I've got my horse with me, who's got 200 litres between him, so that's basically like another entire fuel tank for the Dolphin. And that's why, because I do go obviously everywhere with the loaf, in case you haven't noticed. Yeah, my Dolphin is basically a 400 litre Dolphin, like, at all times. Old Stevie again. See, I could recover it, but it's like, you never know. I looked earlier, it's got about, I think it's 60 or 80 litres of fuel left in it, so one day. Could be heading down here. Be low on the old juice, and yeah. Obviously just hoping the map doesn't decide to steal all my vehicles. Not sure, maybe I wouldn't have anyway. I was going to say I tried to get through there just flat out in high gear, but I kind of steered a bit too sharp one way, so I had to blip the throttle, and I kind of lost a bit of my momentum. But again, I'm perfectly happy with that. That's fair, reasonable speed to be travelling through all that. Again though, I would go round that little bit I just did. Don't go through the middle, because it was not good. It was a bit like that death snow patch I got earlier, where when I was winching to stuff, it wasn't even worth revving your engine, because it just made no difference. So again, with those limp gearboxes, that's another reason I like high gear even more now than I used to, because it feels the closest to just your truck, your engine, and all the power that you're supposed to have access to. Thankfully got chained on the old Dolphin, so yeah, getting on that icy hill, no problem. So that's another place though where, like, if I took the Zix, I'd be stuck there now. Just looking there, like, I wonder what warehouse that was, but I know which one it is. It's near like that astronaut town. I raided it for various supplies the other week. Can't remember what I got out of there, but sure it was good. So there's two more lots of concrete blocks, and as you can tell, I'm going absolutely as flat out as I can over them. Because I knew I had the Lo4f with me, again, even in terms of repairs, the Lo4f is like another extra life, because if I hit those concrete blocks and completely shattered my suspension, my fuel tank, and burst the front 4 tyres, like, the Lo4f could have fixed me up to full health, and then I can set off again. So I was kind of like hitting them as fast as I could just for testing purposes, and yeah, I'd never managed to take damage off them once. Yeah, the ones on Erskine River, I hit at, yeah, 1 mile an hour and completely explodes the bottom half of my truck. So again now, I just cut over to the right a little bit. If I went straight in there, I would have slammed down enough, like, into there's more of a hole in the middle of the road, and the Dolphin's chin would have dug in and stopped me dead, and I would have had to get out of high range. That's why I purposely went over to the right a bit, just enough to avoid that bump. And yeah, it's one of them where, quite often, the road they offer you is the worst option. Cutting round the edge of it is often a better option. But as you can see, that was a pretty free-flow mission flying there and back. The Dolphin certainly made use of 200 litres. I know I got to refuel it when I was there, but I believe I would have made it here and back without. Of course. Stall it like 2 feet away from the destination. And again, I wouldn't be able to reach the trailer normally. If the Lo4f wasn't there, what I'd have to do is put the cargo on the step deck bit where the Lo4f is, and then retract the crane in, put it kind of behind the cargo and try and slide it along the trailer. But drop it off the back of the Lo4f, it kind of rolls back to the trailer. Click pack, drop it off, job's a good one. About 17 grand for that. Again, not great on the money. I think that should be more like a 25-30 grand mission, but it is what it is. They seem to be pretty tight and stingy on this one for whatever reason, so Wisconsin was pretty decent. That was paid pretty well. Yeah, this is the plant we just unlocked basically. So you can craft certain things. You can craft large pipes that need medium pipes and metal rolls, or some metal beams. Which again, you've got metal beams unlimited on the other side of the island, but I'd rather get them than source all the materials and bring them here. And then was there concrete blocks as well, which took like packaged sand, cement and something else. But yeah, That's about it for today though. I hope you enjoyed, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Thanks to my Patreon members. Get yourself a loaf because he's a beast, and I'll be back soon.